Good evening, viewers. Welcome to another session of Wiki Holistic Saturdays. Today, we are back with another health and wellness related topic. The old saying, what you don't know can't hurt you, isn't always good advice. When it comes to toxic substances or chemicals, what you know can help you. If we look around us today, everything we use is some form of chemical or the other. But what we're talking about today are toxic chemicals, right from the air we breathe to the water we drink to the self care products, all could have some form of chemical or the other. There are, of course, serious issues of lead in drinking water, exhaust from cars, and chemicals released from landfills that are very, very serious issues. But even if we look around us in our day to day life, many of the things we use, we eat, are full of chemicals, loaded with chemicals, and many of them can be toxic. By understanding how you can reduce your exposure to chemicals and reduce your risk of harmful health effects, we could be on the path to holistic wellness. So today I have the right guest with me to help us demystify this topic, Seetha Anand Vaidyam. Welcome, Seetha.
Thank you.
Now, I would like to introduce the viewers to our esteemed guest. Seetha is a remedial therapist, a teacher trainer, and wellness coach. She's also the founder of Ananda Foundation, through which she has primarily worked with children with learning difficulties and in the areas of education, health, and environment. She's also the author of Good Food, a guide to right cooking and eating, which has sold 3 editions. Many of her articles on education lifestyle have been published in newspapers and magazines in India, and her wellness workshops and uncooking demonstrations are sought after sessions. So, Seetha, you're just the right person to help us understand this topic better.
I'll share all what I know, and I hope.
Great. So it's good to have you with us. First of all, let me ask you that we keep on talking about the effect of chemicals, harmful effect. Are they really harmful? And is it really an alarming situation?
Yes. So we all know that the basis of our health is our immune system, because that is what helps us to fight off or prevent diseases and infections. So this immunity that we have is very, very important. This is part of our body intelligence. The body has intelligence, and this needs to be preserved. Now, what chemicals do is they interfere with this intelligence, and they create disorder in our immunity system.
Okay.
Because chemicals only know to just kill bacteria. They don't know to distinguish. Our body is intelligent, but the chemicals are not intelligent. So what chemicals do is they just attack our bacteria. So they don't distinguish. We have good bacteria in our body, which are, in layman's terms, good soldiers that are there to protect our body.
Yes.
So if we kill these good soldiers, then we are making our bodies weak and open to more and more infections. So this is what chemicals do to us in a very layman's term. And this is a serious problem. It may seem a very small thing, but the immunity is everything about our health. So immunity, especially during this pandemic time, we keep hearing this, no, immunity boosters, and take care of your, improve your immunity. So this is something we all need to look into, especially during these times. Yeah. So that is number one, about how important it is to keep away chemicals.
Okay.
Secondly, how alarming is the situation? It is quite alarming because sometimes these chemicals don't immediately affect you. Sometimes they do affect you immediately, but most of the times they are slow poisoners. Very slowly, there's a degeneration in the body which you're not even aware of until it is too late.
Okay.
So now a very casual look at the kind of diseases that are coming about and the kind of disorders that people are facing, like early onslaught of osteoporosis, arthritis, and the rampant cases of cancer,
Yes.
and even early onset of puberty in girls,
So,
which actually weakens our bodies. So all these can be traced to chemicals. So the situation is quite alarming. Not only the physical body, but also our emotional state
okay.
is at threat because these chemicals interfere with our hormones,
Okay.
and that can really affect our moods and the emotional state that we are in. And thirdly, it can also affect our mental well-being. If you see, Alzheimer's, dementia are on the increase, and certain metal toxins, they lead to these mental problems, even learning difficulties like ADHD, autism. Many of these are traced to toxins in the body that creep in due to the presence of chemicals or metals.
Okay, that's quite alarming.
Yes, it is.
Now, if you could tell us what are the broad categories in which we can ingest chemicals? What are the different
Yeah.
sources?
So one is through food,
Okay.
definitely, we a lot of times. The other is through personal care products. When it comes to personal care, our body, what we use in our person,
Yeah.
as well as what we use in the house, like cleaning agents and all those, even the simple things that you use in your kitchen, your toilet, your all that is one way of
Detergent.
chemicals getting into our bloodstream.
Okay.
The other is also indiscriminate use of medicines.
Medicine.
I know that medicines are very important,
Yeah.
but indiscriminately for very simple things, if we use medicines, it could, in the long run, really impact on it could tell on our health. The other thing is, when we inhale toxic gases, pollution in the air, that, see, water is something, it's not really in our hands,
Mhm.
though in a large way, yes, if we all take care not to use plastic or other things. Water is something that needs on a very broad spectrum, it needs attention. But air, not just the pollution from the vehicles and factories, but also the waste that is generated in our homes can lead to the release of these gases, and that can be harmful too for us.
Okay. So now let's go one by one. How do we ingest chemicals through food?
Yeah.
What are the different ways in which we
Yes.
can? Because we all try to give the best to our family, but there
Yes.
are hidden chemicals everywhere. If you could tell
Absolutely.
us about that.
Yeah. Number one is we need to know the source of our food, how our food is grown, and how it comes to us. By the time it reaches our plate, how it is coming to us, it's very important to understand. And if you see, there's the use of pesticides as well as fertilizers in agriculture.
Yeah.
And this can be really a major way in which we ingest chemicals.
Mhm.
You'll be surprised that some of the pesticides that are used, they're so harmful that when farmers actually spray those pesticides, even though they cover their nose and everything, they still feel nauseous.
Okay.
And I'm told that farmers do not eat on those days when they're spraying certain pesticides, because it just doesn't suit them. They cannot eat that day, that whole day, because it really affects their stomach. They just cannot digest on that day. This is for inhaling the spray. Imagine that spray entering our fruits and vegetables, and then we eat it. So it slowly we are leading to a weak stomach and weak digestion. So this is about pesticides. Even fertilizers can cause a lot of harm. Actually, fertilizer use leads to pesticide use in many cases. So it's a vicious circle. That's one way. And also when it comes to food, even the packaged food can also be quite laden with chemicals. You find class 2 preservatives. When they added color, added synthetic color, or certain emulsifiers. These are the terms that are all, camouflaging chemicals. These
Okay.
are terms that camouflage chemicals. So these are all harmful. Also, sometimes Tetra packs, they're lined with metal.
Oh,
Tetra packs, they come
yes.
with a lining. So over a period of time, when the liquid in it stays, in the shelf for so long, it will obviously leach. That metal gets into our body. So
Okay.
these are the ways in which, through food, we can, we
Okay.
tend to.
And I think this would be home food, but we often go to restaurants and order food. So there also, I'm sure the food coloring and food essences that are used, MSG is used rampantly in most restaurants. So I
Yes,
think we need to be conscious about where we eat, where we order from.
yes,
Like in Hyderabad, there is this culture of biryani. The cheapest biryani will do well, but then you don't know what all is put in it. The flavoring. I've heard that a lot of MSG goes into
yes,
not just Chinese food, but even Indian food because it gives us boost to the palate. But
yes.
uh,
Actually, also MSG is not always called as MSG.
mhm.
It's called by different names. They even call it what they call it tasting salt. It's
Okay,
called in interior Andhra. I've heard them saying that. So it's very important. Of course, we all like to eat out,
yeah,
but at least we should reduce the number of times we eat
yeah,
out, or choose restaurants and ask, tell them that I am allergic to certain things. I think we need to demand for quality. We need to.
quality, and
Yeah.
we shouldn't mind paying a little bit extra for quality. Rather than just
Yeah,
going
when
for the
priorities are right, see, if we give a priority to our food,
yes,
the body is a temple. So what goes in, if we have some reverence for that, so
yes.
we'll give that priority, and so we'll spend a little more on that.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
read recently somewhere that eating good food is a form of self respect, isn't it?
Yes,
Treating
absolutely, I agree
ourselves
with that
right.
statement. Yes.
Okay. So now moving on to the next category, self care products. We use
Yes.
creams, shampoos, everything we use has labels behind.
Yeah.
How can we be a little more cautious of reading those labels carefully?
Yes. Sulfates,
Okay.
and there is phthalates. So what happens in sulfates, this anti-dandruff shampoos,
Yeah.
no wonder just in one wash you will find your hair clean and devoid of dandruff. But these can actually cause an early onset of puberty in children, in girl children.
That's
And
shocking.
also, if pregnant mothers inhale that, or they, it gets into their scalp in some way, it gets into their skin,
Mhm.
even the pregnant girl babies can have early puberty.
Oh God.
And as early as 7 8 years, which is, as a woman, we can understand how difficult it
It
becomes.
is.
So these are some things that we need to also synthetic colors, nail polish,
Mhm.
things that spread like lotions, they
I'm
spread.
also guilty of that, because
No, no.
we all
See
need to look
this.
good, but then, we have to choose our products.
See, actually, this program, I don't want anybody to feel guilty or to feel alarmed. See,
Yes,
this is just knowledge, is just empowerment.
yes.
And we can see how better we can do. And every problem has a solution.
Mhm.
And we just begin where we can.
Yeah,
And we
we
may
can
not reach.
minimize at least, if not
Yes, we can
eliminate.
minimize, and we can become more aware and search for the right things. So
Right.
that is what this whole talk is about. So
Okay.
nail polish and even deodorants.
Yes.
Deodorants come in these aluminum containers most often.
Yes.
The body sprays,
Mhm.
room fresheners, all
Yes.
these. So these can also get into our system.
Okay.
They have traced dementia and Alzheimer's mainly to this
Oh my
use
God.
of deodorants.
Okay.
So research has shown that. And
And you
this
were
is,
mentioning about creams which are, which have a certain consistency.
yes,
With
then they spread, they spread So there are certain synthetic substances that give the smooth feeling,
Okay.
this elasticity to the, the substance, to the liquid or the cream.
Yes.
So these are, they add a lot of chemicals to get that flow, to get that smoothness. And it non-greasy oil.
Yes.
So hair oil, see, something, when you change the very nature of a substance, for example, salt has to clump up when it comes in contact with air.
Yes.
This free flowing salt that
Oh,
remains
yes.
dry even in air when it comes. So then you're changing the nature of that salt. Likewise, oil is greasy. Now, non greasy oil simply means it is not oil.
Okay.
So, these are things, and you can just be aware how, you to read labels, or to just see that something has to be in its natural form in
Okay.
order for it to be beneficial.
Now, this brings me back to the earlier times, when our grandmothers and mothers used to use so many home beauty products, right from besan, uptan, and shikakai, all those Rita,
Yes,
Amla, shikakai for
yes,
hair.
absolutely.
Uh, do you think we should try and go back to the roots?
Absolutely, that is the way to avoid chemicals.
Okay.
So actually, when we speak about personal care, I would also like to mention about home care products.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when it comes to home care, like you have these cleaning agents, sometimes when we wash our vessels,
Yes.
the entire powder doesn't go off.
Oh,
Some of
yes. There are traces left.
So these can be really harmful.
Okay.
And even when it comes to your toiletries,
Mhm.
toiletries, be it your toothpaste
Mhm.
and other things, as well as your, the cleaning, the toilet cleaners, the floor cleaners,
Okay.
all these are a big way in which we, inhale toxins,
Oh.
chemicals. And
Literally surrounded
like you
by.
said, I just wanted to add, like you were mentioning about uptons and all
Yes.
this. So even for home care, for washing vessels, we used to have these, you had ash,
Mhm. Oh, yes.
because
I've seen that at the
so,
time.
and also you can use a lot of homemade products.
Mhm.
And this is something we all should
Uh,
pay attention to.
Even something as simple as the coal that we use, the kajal.
Oh, yes,
Earlier, people used to make it at home
yes,
with the coconut oil. And
yes.
off late, I have noticed that I buy the best brands and it irritates my eye. And the counter salesperson will say that don't touch it to the waterline. I said, how can you have kajal and not touch it to the waterline? So now I have gone to the first brand that I used to use, which is a very, very, herbal kind of brand,
Yeah.
and it's working fine. But all these
Ah,
fancy companies, they come up with
absolutely.
so many,
Yes.
and they're expensive, but yet the quality is questionable
Yes, it
at
is.
times, without naming anybody.
Yes. I know, I can understand that. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that is one category. Now let's move to the medicines. The you said indiscriminate use of medicines.
Yes. See, actually, I'm not here to nullify the importance or the, the great help that allopathy chemical medicines do to us. Sometimes they're lifesavers. We need it. We need
Yes.
it. And when there are emergencies like an accident,
Mhm.
we just need those chemicals to support life. And I'm
Absolutely.
not here to deny their importance,
Yes.
but indiscriminate use for small problems like a, nagging, headache,
Headache.
or some, common cold. So these are things that can be dealt with home remedies. But again, I would like to mention this as a caution that chronic acute problems need proper medical intervention.
Medical
I'm
help.
not here to deny that. But resorting to even things that we think are harmless, like paracetamols,
Yes.
something, when you say diarrhea, it means the body is trying to throw out something that is bad. But
Yes.
if you immediately stop that, whatever is infecting you stays inside the body, and it recurs after a gap. For the time being it is stopped, then it recurs. So in course of the time the stomach becomes weak, the
Okay.
digestion and everything become weak.
Well,
So
I'm personally suffering from this because, sometimes you have busy days, and I am a food blogger. And,
yes,
you're
so you need
supposed
to
to
eat
eat.
out. Yes,
And then you pop in a tablet which is supposed to help you digest. But over a period of time, I think one can go for natural remedies, even
yes,
if you have,
yes. Yes,
irritable.
definitely. And even application of balm or something.
Mhm.
So medicine is something that we should think twice before taking, or go to holistic, medical personnel also. See if it works.
Okay, that way our old, sciences of Ayurveda and Unani medicine, even
Yes,
uh,
Siddha, Siddha also.
homeopathic. I mean, though it acts a little slow, but it can be equally good.
Yes, they're
Hope.
less harmful. They're not harmful to the body. Yeah.
So, could you suggest some natural cures, because you're an expert in this? Like, suppose one has a cold, a child has a cold, or anybody, you have slight sneezing. What would
Yes.
be the best natural remedies?
I think the first thing that we need to do is steam inhalation.
Mm-hmm.
So that will kind of drain out. It tries to come out easier when there's a thick congestion. It needs to be eased.
Yeah.
Hot fermentation in the chest, back. There are a lot of packs that you can do. Application of ginger pack.
Mm-hmm.
For very young infants, you can have these. What is this? Kesar,
Yes.
saffron pack for young infants,
Mm-hmm.
even the newborns. These it is really effective. It is quite powerful because in the young age especially you can avoid a lot of medication, because the body is very tender and it's very subtle. It absorbs all the subtle treatments. So
Yes.
it as we grow and the more we medicate, we need stronger and stronger
Oh,
medication.
yes, that happens.
So yeah, so and even things like acupressure,
Yes.
pressing the correct points can relieve that organ, be it the lungs or be it the liver. Even migraines can be treated through acupressure. These are ways in which you can treat.
I remember in older times, like when ladies used to get headache, they would tie,
Yes, that is
dupatta rather than popping a pill.
exactly, yes,
Similarly, for stomach, like digestion, we even the probiotics we go and buy off the counter, whereas many probiotics can be made at home. If you could tell us about some good
yes.
ones.
A very simple thing that you can do is, living in South India, especially, even North Indians eat rice.
Yes.
So just take, I'm just mentioning it for one person,
Mhm.
take 1 tablespoon of cooked rice. It
Okay.
can be white or brown or whatever rice you're using. Just take 1 tablespoon of cooked rice,
Mhm.
and to it you add half a tablespoon of methi seeds, fenugreek seeds,
Yes.
and just add 1 glass of water. Now soak these in the morning time.
Okay.
After you cook, you just take a spoon and let it aside. But make sure that you soak these in a ceramic or a glass jar, and not in a plastic or a metal container.
Okay.
And leave this overnight outside. And in the morning, first thing in the morning, just consume this liquid. This is your homemade probiotic drink. So
Wow.
this will help you develop, grow probiotics in your gut. So
Okay.
this is a very simple thing.
Uh,
Just one, I'll just repeat it: 1 tablespoon of cooked rice and half a tablespoon of methi dana, left overnight outside with a glass of water in a ceramic or a mud or a glass jar.
So that is the thing, in earlier times, again, it's going back to the roots in many ways.
Yes.
I remember with every season, some new thing used to be made, which was according to the season. And a lot of our festivals actually had dishes which were right for that season. Like in
Very true.
spring, we had kanji, we make from carrots in the North India, and that's also very good. probiotic?
Actually, our pickles,
Yeah.
we think pickles are bad, but actually pickles, when made with the right ingredients,
Mhm.
with non-chemical, organically grown ingredients and good cold pressed oil, they're excellent probiotics. So in this Telugu speaking region,
Mhm.
people eat the first morsel pickle rice.
Oh,
It's actually good,
okay.
provided it's made with the right ingredients, not with the chemically grown chili powder and mustard powder and the processed oil. No, that will not give you the probiotic.
Okay.
But when it's made with traditionally grown organic ingredients, it's a very good probiotic because these are left to ferment.
Yes. Yes.
And all these pickles are really, really good. And
Okay. That's so nice to know.
yes.
Okay, now moving on to the next broad category, waste management and segregation. That's
Yes. Yes. Um, I think we can't leave all the responsibilities to the government,
Mhm.
or, there are a lot of things that we as individuals can do. We have the power to do. And in your kitchen, you can just have two, two small bins on your sink where you can just segregate the waste. And what you do with the biodegradable, like your peels, the food waste, if at all some is there. So all that you can actually compost. It's not difficult to compost even if you live in an apartment.
Mhm.
And there are so many YouTube videos that you can see and learn, and it's a very, very simple thing to do.
Okay. Now,
This
why do
will
you think this is
reduce.
important? Because, we may not be directly affected in our home by
Yes.
how we dispose of our waste, but it is affecting somebody else.
Yes. See, ultimately, today, the world is very small.
Yes.
What affects one part affects the other part, and more immediately than earlier.
Yes.
So, everywhere, so we're all responsible and we all need to be part of this remedial measure. We
And
are all,
we have seen areas where the waste is disposed of in our cities, which of course are not the best planned cities, and where these dump waste is dumped, the kind of smell and odor that comes in that area. I mean, that
yes.
people
Uh,
around that area must be suffering.
See, we have during this monsoon, we have dengue, and see, it's common sense. It's logical to understand that where there are dumps, there will be mosquitoes. Where there's unclean water, there will be mosquito breeding, and that will lead to these, problems.
Mhm.
Even things like typhoid, cholera, all these are all ultimately about clean surrounding.
Yeah.
And each house, if you generate less waste, if
Mhm.
you throw out less things outside,
Mhm.
you are in a way helping this control of waste. you're you're
And
playing a huge role in
segregating
this.
biodegradable and non-biodegradable wastage would be priority.
Yes, I think segregation is foremost. It's a foremost priority, and we can't say that we don't know, or it's not my responsibility.
Yeah.
We just can't do that because the government can't enter your house and segregate.
Yes.
Once you put everything in one bin, nobody can segregate it after that. So it is the responsibility of each of us to do this. And if we want a clean environment, which is the only way to get good health, then
Mhm.
we have to contribute to this. And it's a very simple thing to segregate waste. And not only segregate, please use that biodegradable waste in your balconies, your terraces, or
Yeah.
if you have the luxury of a garden, please use it there. Instead
Oh,
of sending it outside and instead of expecting somebody to compost it for you, you can very easily do. And see, we talk about children getting bored in the homes. What do we do? Instead of them glued to the TV, they can be involved in all these interesting projects.
so nice to hear
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
So, since you mentioned gardens, how do you think growing plants around us can also help? I mean, many of us live in high-rise apartments, and we
Yes.
are, as it is, alienated from nature.
Greenery.
So,
Yes.
do you think that can also diminish the effect of chemicals around us?
Absolutely, absolutely. Indoor plants.
Mhm.
In fact, there are certain plants that produce more oxygen than certain other plants, and there is even a plant called snake plant that can. It's also called a bedroom plant
Okay.
because it emits oxygen in the night.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So normally plants emit carbon dioxide in the night, but this plant emits oxygen in the night. So it is ideal to keep in the bedroom also. And these will actually definitely improve the quality of air in your homes
Mhm.
and help you, breathe better, more cleaner air. And definitely they contribute to better, you know, air quality.
Okay.
So it's very, very good. And it doesn't matter if you don't have garden space.
Mhm.
In your balconies, in every room, I actually grow something. Um,
Okay.
and yeah, you just need a little bit of conscious planning. That's all.
Okay. So you've given us some very good pointers. Now, please tell us that what will be the long-term benefits, and is it easy to follow this lifestyle? Obviously, we can't go back to the Stone Age. We can't completely change our lifestyle. We have hectic lifestyles. How can we take steps towards this?
Yes.
Is it easy or is it difficult? Does it really have to take a lot of our time from our life?
Number one, 100% organic life is a dream now. I don't think it's unless you go away from the city. I don't think it can be a reality.
Also, organic is more expensive, whatever you go to buy organic is
Yes.
expensive. What are the ways in which we can
Yeah,
get more reasonable organic?
yeah. So to answer your first question, is it very difficult for us, and are we going to, make our lives miserable by thinking about
Make
chemical?
our own detergent, make our own
So,
shampoo.
see, already there is so much stress. I don't want this to become another stressful feature in your life. Definitely not. Life is to be enjoyed, whether with chemicals or without chemicals. We all need to be happy.
Yes.
That is foremost. And coming to, is it difficult? It just needs consciousness.
Okay.
We all talk about meditation, presence of mind, and being in the present moment. I think this is one opportunity for you to practice that. So
Mhm.
each time you go to buy something, just be conscious, read the labels, and make some, do some reading online.
Informed decisions, I would say.
Informed, exactly. Make informed decisions. Do, search online for safe products.
Mhm.
That is number one. Number two, a lot of things can be prepared at home. For example, floor cleaners.
Yes.
We all, especially now, it's going to be the mango season very soon. We all are going to be gorging on our mangoes,
Yes.
and we'll have the peel
Mhm.
of the mangoes lying in the homes, and those peels can be made into enzymes that can
Oh,
clean the floor. Yes.
wow.
And they can also be pesticides for your organic pesticides for your plants. So it is a 2-in-1 or even a 3-in-1 purpose. It can solve a lot of things. These are, and even if you have infants and they happen to lick the floor, or they put
Yeah.
something from the, it's
It
harmless.
won't be harmful.
It is harmless, yeah. So these are simple ways. I myself have written articles on preparation of bioenzymes, cleaning agents at home, and there's a lot of information on the net.
Yeah, I
So
remember like we used to do with the tamarind pulp, we used to clean the brass utensils
yes,
and
yeah,
it gives such a sparkling shine. Lemon peels.
lemon peels, yes.
There are,
So
I mean, if
yeah,
we look around and do some research, I'm sure.
yes, for cleaning, as well as even for our personal care,
Mhm.
if you can use things like basin, uh,
Yes,
and lemon, honey, these are things that are all cleansers. And uh, fruits,
fruits.
when you peel fruits, can't you just rub a few on your, that's a
I do that.
natural scrub.
I do that regularly.
Sugar is a beautiful scrub.
Mhm.
It's a very effective scrub. So coffee powder. can be used, and a lot of things that we use in the kitchen. We don't need to, spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
But when you peel papaya, just the skin of the papaya, it still retains a little bit of the fruit. So, that can go on the skin, and, cucumbers. We have so many ways to avoid chemicals. All it needs a little bit of conscious effort. See, instead of getting stressed, we can all have targets.
Yes.
So this month, I'm going to target my food.
Mhm.
How can I control chemicals in my food? Next month, can I control in my personal care? That kind of targets, then that makes life easier. And
So we can
also
move
to,
step by step and
yes,
slowly
then it
start
becomes,
working on different areas of life. Also, organic, I was asking you, once you mentioned when we were talking that we can have communities
yes.
and buy things together.
Yeah. Number one is every house should grow basic greens like coriander, mint, and fenugreek.
Mm.
You can just grow it in your own kitchen garden, in a windowsill, on a balcony, because greens, no matter how much you wash, the chemicals won't go away.
Oh.
So these greens are the most, toxic.
Mhm.
So though we say greens are good for health,
But yeah, the where we
so
source them from is
yeah.
also important.
And also, like, when it comes to sourcing certain fruits like a pineapple, they're all hard skin,
Hmm.
so you don't have to really worry too much. There's not too much. And also these yellow bananas, they
Mhm.
cannot spray, because if they spray, they die.
Okay.
Pitafal, these are fruits which you can buy non-organic also. There's nothing can happen there, because these are intelligent fruits
Okay.
that, because if you do some intervention there, they will die.
They will
So
buy.
they
So
protect themselves.
nature knows the answers. It's just that we messed it up.
Yes. So they can be consumed. Amla is another thing that is pure everywhere. So you can buy them even from non-organic sources.
But
But
when it
coming
comes
to
to
the
grains
cost,
and all, when it comes to grains, our pulses,
yes, those things I think we need to see. When we talk about satsang for religion, I think this is also a kind of a satsang. People interested in pure eating, good eating.
yes.
This is a satsang that you create, and you order together to bring down the cost.
Mhm.
And also, if you are comfortable enough to buy land, I think everybody should go closer to agriculture. We need to know our farmers, or support farmers, or get involved in farming. I
Yes.
think if we have that comfort, say in a corporate company,
Mhm.
this can be one of the projects that they do during weekends. So I think, these are ways in
What
which
a
to
good idea. And we would get time to spend in fresh
a
air
farm.
and with
Yes,
nature. It will be so
yes,
rejuvenating. And at the same
absolutely.
time, we are creating something pure to
Yeah.
use.
Yes, it's recreation as well as health giving. So I think it's very important to find these kind of avenues to
Yes.
bring down the cost. um, First we should understand how important this is, and then we'll find the ways. I think it's very important to get convinced that this is what we need, and then we'll apply. We're all intelligent people now, and we'll all find ways. Where there is a will, there is a way. But there must be a will, there must be a conviction that this is what we need.
So
uh,
it should be an area of priority
yes,
to sum it up. I
yes.
think that was brilliant, Seetha. You have given us some great insights and great motivation to start a healthier, chemical free lifestyle. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and really commend the way you've been doing a lot of awareness programs through this platform, and all the best to you too. Thank you
Thank
so
you. I'm
much.
sure our viewers enjoyed it. Thank you so much for being on our show.